and have several times raised concern, grave ones, about the budget. I've sent messages about it. If you follow me up in Twitter, you will see where I have complained severally. Even when the senator, one of them, alleged that there was 3 trillion pardon, I did make a humble appeal that that budget be taken back and looked at to ensure that the right things are there. Because you could see it clearly that the budget, now I'll give you a few examples which I've highlighted. The budget of, say, National Library. A country the size of Nigeria does not have a national library to date. We have the National Assembly trying to build its own library for about 15 billion naira. When the budget of National Library is not up to 1 billion. That is where the whole nation, and I'm sure the amount of their own library, cumulatively, if we put all the universities together, you have budget of, again, National Assembly Clinic being 15 billion naira. When, if you put together the entire teaching hospitals, which is, in quotes, the height of our healthcare, if you put teaching hospital of our foremost universities, Ibadan, Nsukka, University of Nigeria, Ahmadu Bello, Lagos, is less than the budget of the capital budget, is less than the budget of National Assembly Clinic. I can go on and on. The Ministry of Science as a ministry, the entire capital budget is about 6 billion. When the budget of the car park of House of Rep and the Senate is about 6 billion.
So the priority of the government is to create car park,
totally
much more important.
In today's system. And if you've seen that the pardon, which they said is not true, have now become even a reality. Because if you go where you are now seeing in places of like National Space Research Development Agency, and you're now seeing 80 million for dust bins in Oyo, 80 million for sensitization of unwanted pregnancy, 170 million for sensitization for traditional rulers on peace and conflict resolution in space agency.
So what space agency got to do with traditional rulers?
You can believe it. You're not seeing where we have about 300 million over a National News Agency of Nigeria for tricycles and school renovation. So, and you can go on and on and on and seeing things like that, and you ask yourself, how did we come here? Like I've always said, government needs to prioritize our small resources in key development areas, which are health, education, and per capita, pulling people out of poverty. And these areas are not getting enough support. If you talk about your health care, the most important part of your health care is your primary health care. That is the foundation. We have today overtaken India in infant mortality, 7 times our population, and the capital budget of our primary health care for the whole nation is about 59 billion. The cost of our presidential jet at 100 million is about 160 billion. That is 3 times our primary health care.
And this is not the only private jet that the president has.
Just the new one we purchased.
Just the new one.
They said it's 100. We don't know the actual figure because they need to reconfigure it and everything. So
when you say they need to reconfigure it, are you suggesting the numbers are being massaged?
I don't know what is happening because nobody knows. We now live in an era where nobody knows what is happening. All you know is that you wake up in the morning, they tell you, we've bought these new cars, nobody. That is why I keep saying we must go back to the parliamentary system of governance. Even if we have to maintain the presidential system, we have to include where everything have to be explained.
I said it earlier that if you think about it, it's easy for you to throw your hands in the air and give up and complain and complain and complain. Just feel bitterness in your heart. I understand that feeling because I felt it too. And that was what pushed me to think and think and think and think hard about a solution to this. We can't just continue like this. We can't just continue like this. Somebody says, oh, the results for 2027 election has been written by Tinubu is sure. And so I ask myself, what is that supposed to mean? Does that mean that we shouldn't bother to participate or prepare for the 2027 elections? Does it mean that, definitely, Tinubu gets to perpetuate himself in office beyond 2027? And so we should just sit down and do nothing? Come on. If you think about Nigeria, the tendency is for you to feel and believe and think like that. It's a narrative that they drive using propaganda. It's a programming, it's social programming. And if you're feeling that way, I can understand why. But I bring good news. We can change that by setting up a new political party where we have clearly stated conditions, ideologies that are clearly stated in our constitution. And to take it a step further, because Nigerians will be Nigerians. One thing we don't understand is every Nigerian has a tendency to be corrupt. Some may be higher than others, but every Nigerian has a tendency to be corrupt. And if you put a goat in a room with yam, it will be foolish not to expect the goat not to eat the yam. So what do? You can restrain the goat by putting a rope around the neck and tying it to a place and making sure that the length of the rope, if exhausted, the goat still cannot reach the yam. That way, the goat and the yam can coexist because you put restraint on the neck of the goat so that the farthest the goat can reach on that rope, it will still not be able to reach the yam. That is why we need to set up this new political party in such a way that in the constitution of the party, we will clearly state the ideologies and we will clearly state the punishment for those ideologies. So those punishments will serve as the rope around the neck of that goat. That way, we are not leaving the behavior of people or members or leaders that emerge on the platform of this, our new political party. We are not leaving their behavior to chance. We anticipate it and we put measures in our constitution clearly stated, so that we will not have the issues we are having in the political parties now. In this new political party that we want to form, we will make sure that the provisions are clearly stated and the punishment for breach of those ideologies, those positions, are clearly stated as well. Because you see, INEC recognizes the constitution of the political party. The Supreme Court recognizes the supremacy of the constitution of the political party, subject only to the regulation of INEC and to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So we cannot continue the way we are now. And we cannot continue to do the same things we are doing now and expect a different result. We have to change. We cannot only be relying on revolution, when we do not have the means for such a revolution, or when we are not ready for the sacrifice, the huge sacrifice in lives and properties that may be required for such a revolution, we can come about a revolution that is intellectual, that is peaceful, and yet very forceful to bring about a change in the leadership of this country through this new political party that I'm talking about. It is the Abundance Party of Nigeria. There's a link in the description for it. But while you go to look at that link and click on it, I'd like to tell you also that there's a second reason why it is absolutely important that we do this now. We do it now without delay. There's a second reason.